how should an individual educator read this book? And, going back to when I first started training student teachers, mentoring them 30 years ago, it always struck me that there's a schizophrenic quality to how we prepare teachers. On the one hand, we tell them to ask and question and to be part of a collaborative school culture. And on the other hand, we tell them to shut up and sit down and be in their classroom. And part of what, struck me as I was working on the Great Rethink, the Great School Rethink, was that so many of the frustrations that families and teachers shared coming out of the pandemic relate to the need to ask questions about why are we doing things the way we're doing? Why do schools wind up wasting so much time? Why are staff put in a position where they feel like they are devoting so much energy to things that aren't making a difference for kids? How do we change that? And the reality is that most of the change work has been left to folks on high, superintendents and state chiefs, but they're pretty far removed from an individual classroom. So they tend to wind up with broad solutions that may or may not land for individual teachers. And individual teachers, though, they don't actually have much of an avenue, much of an opportunity to make themselves heard on what needs to change on this. They wind up grumbling in the teacher's lounge, or they sit in some focus group as part of some paper-thin reform outreach. And so the logic of the Great School Rethink, the logic I think here, is that we believe, and I think when you read the various contributions, you see that the real work of rethinking tends to come from the ground up. It comes from addressing why it is that kids aren't being well served, why parents are frustrated, why teachers are finding it so hard to do their best work. And that real rethinking works from those folks raising concerns in productive ways, and then helping others on the outside start to help them figure out what are better solutions. So what I want is I want teachers to read these things, not because they say, oh, that's the right way to do it, but because it opens up their eyes to what's possible. And it does tell them there are lots of people out there desperate to hear what it is that isn't working for teachers in our systems today.